Hi everyone, and welcome to Youth Amplified,
a podcast that inspires, empowers, and connects.
I'm Ronna.
And I'm Brian. And in the spotlight today, freedom, speech, and power. Where is the line between free speech and harm?
We're joined around the table by Mason, Zarif, human rights advocate, and radio host Andrea Neville. So let's dive right in.
Absolutely. I'm going to start off with Zarif. Ronna. Zarif, what do you think, what does freedom of speech actually mean to you personally?
No, that's a great question because there is a universally accepted definition of free speech and human rights. But, when you ask of it personally, well, I think that to have freedom of speech is to have the ability to express ideas, beliefs, and experiences without fear of unjust criticism or censorship or punishment, in fact. But, to me, freedom of speech isn't just about having the right to speak. It's also having the ability to ensure people that they have a genuine opportunity to participate in conversations that, they do belong in. And a society where only the loudest, wealthiest, or the most powerful people are the loudest isn't a society that's actually free or having the ability to, express freedom of speech.
Thank you, Zarif. Andrea, over to you. Where do you think the line sits between expressing an opinion and causing harm?
I'm going to say again, another great question. It's interesting because on radio, I have people that talk on the radio, and of course I talk on the radio as well. But then I have to listen to what they're saying if it's going to make some effect at the other end, the listeners, and if it's going to cause more harm, or I would say damage, or it doesn't come across right, I will step in and I will say something or counter it, or I will say something about it because I think you just have to watch it as well. So I think the fine line is, how does it, would you want that to happen to you? That communication that you get from someone else. If you're going to give it out, will you be willing to receive it and take it on board as well? That's the other point, I think.
Good one.
No, very well said. Very well said. Now, Mason, what do you think? Has social media democratized free speech or simply created new gatekeepers? What do you think?
I think it's given more people a voice, and that is, I guess, democratized in that way. But I think that also opens you up to other things that may not be so good, like for example, hate speech and that sort of thing. Although you should be able to say what you want, it has kind of democratized a little bit, I'd say.
Yeah.
Zarif?
Yes.
What are your thoughts about this? Is there a difference between having the right to speak and having the right to be heard?
Yeah, that is a great question, and absolutely there is. There is a great difference, in fact, because freedom of speech guarantees the opportunity to express yourself, but it doesn't always guarantee, having an audience or amplification of your opinions or agreement, in fact, with what you're saying. However, we should, ask the question whether some voices face structural barriers in having their voices heard, and I can say this from experience, as a student presenting at a forum compared to a celebrity having 50 million followers just being on a live stream, there's a great structural barrier there, and obviously what I say may not have as much merit compared to what that celebrity says.
Andrea, what do you think? How can communities create space for voices that are often overlooked?
Yes. Well, this is something we've talked about on my radio show, Brian. We've had, out in the communities, sometimes, Alice Spring is a place that comes up a lot in the media, right? But sometimes if you go to those areas, there is nothing there for the children to do, right? Yeah. Like in one town somewhere, I'm not going to name names, they built like $1 million police station when they actually needed a place for the children to be able to have sports, a rec centre, a place to get together.
Now, Mason, question for you. Mm-hmm. Who should decide what is acceptable speech? Governments, social media platforms, communities, or individuals? What are your thoughts?
Well, speaking to the government part, I think governments can have policies in place with things like the E-Safety Commissioner, particularly speaking online example, because that's where they can have the most control. Mm-hmm. They can have those policies in place. Social medias can also do their own, I guess, vetting of different posts and, I guess, offensive language. And communities, again, can also do their part by, I guess, educating people on what is acceptable speech and how to conduct yourself in person and online. Yeah. But on an individual level, if you know something is going to, say, get someone rolled up, and you post it, you kind of do it at your own peril, if that makes sense. At your own risk, I should say.
Yeah. Zarif, going from there, from Mason's answer, how do we protect vulnerable communities from hate speech while still protecting freedom of expression?
Well, I guess we should, all of these platforms should rather focus on restrictions on social conduct or media conduct rather than placing restrictions on areas of disagreement or hate speech specifically, because I feel like that can be very problematic in trying to enforce these rules, because people always find a way to just bypass it and say what they want anytime, anywhere. So if we rather focus on conduct rather than specifically saying you can't say this or that, then you have a greater impact in protecting vulnerable communities. And, the goal isn't to completely eliminate offensive ideas, because we all know that is impossible. So we stick to reinforcing proper conduct. And the goal in the end is to basically prevent speech that undermines people's safety, dignity, and the ability to participate in society as a whole.
Mason, back to you. Mm-hmm. Talking about public discourse, what would it take for more young people to participate in public conversations?
Well, firstly, I think it comes down to a lot of young people. Let's just say, what do we say, young people are 13 to 16? We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
They may feel that their opinion or their stance or whatever it may be may come, if they voice that, they may face some backlash. Mm-hmm. Maybe they feel that they might feel that they'd be degraded in a way, and this would be certainly be a barrier for a lot of people. But I think if we can create a space where that is not a problem, much like this, where you can voice things, I think that is a positive step in the right direction.
Yes. Yeah. That if I may add, just like young people just need the confidence that they have genuine opportunities and spaces to contribute their ideas without ridicule, without shame, and without, fearing of being shut down.
Yeah. We were just talking about backlash.
Yeah.
Do you think that, the growth of online media has made young people more cautious about backlash now?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because many young people now grow up knowing that, comment or mistakenly liked post on social media can somehow ruin their lives. And in fact, I've had my own parents and, teachers talk to me, because I'm very vocal about, human rights advocacy on my social platforms. And my parents have come up to me saying, Zarif, you might need to tone it down a bit, because people might get offended by what you're saying. What I'm saying isn't inciting violence at all. Like, I'm putting up posts that, actually fight for the opposite, fighting for peace. But, there's just that genuine fear around people seeing it the wrong way. And, you suddenly having a target on your back. And like this creates that pressure to just self-censor, like having to shadow yourself and become completely silent when you know what you're fighting for is the right thing.
Andrea, over to you now. If you could create one rule for respectful public debate, what would it be?
One rule would be, I'll extend it to listen first. Listen.
Yeah.
To hear what other people have to say. Then put your opinion there. If you start talking over everyone and pushing your point of view, then no one really gets a chance to really, you don't get to listen to what they have to say. So I think it's important, first of all, listen, and then, what we're doing here. It's a perfect example of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mason, we've talked a lot about, online and social media. What do you think? If every social media platform disappeared tomorrow, would society become more unified or more divided?
Well, I think people would first and foremost, people would become less connected with things. But I think that either being united or divided, although social media can affect that, I don't think it changes that, because people are still going to hold their opinions and views, bad or good, regardless of what, we can look at, as a person, not a personal example, but something that I can draw from, Germany between the years of 36 and 45. That was a bad thing. Social media wasn't around then, but people still had those opinions, good and bad.
Yeah.
So I don't think social media really changes anything in that sense.
I personally think it's a bit of both, actually.
Yeah,
because although we might see less outrage-driven content, people call it rage bait. Rage bait politics nowadays. You see one clip on Instagram about this outrageous podcaster saying this outrageous take on
this outrageous thing.
Yeah, outrageous thing whatsoever. But and it gets thousands and millions of views and comments that are just
and they make
people.
Money from it.
They might make money off it just because they get people uproared. And however, we lose important avenues for connection, activism, community building, such as this. How would we spread such important messages without social media having existed, right? And what I believe is that social media didn't create division. It simply amplified the existing divisions that were already in place in society, but it also created the opportunities for connection.
Okay, Andrea.
Yeah.
Can limiting harmful speech actually create a freer and safer society?
I would say to a degree.
Yeah.
Maybe for a period, yes. And we go through these periods. But there will always be, it'll always be there somewhere and rear its ugly head.
Yeah.
Like it does at sports shows or, on Anzac Day, what happened with Pastor Ray Minicon, who I had on my show, by the way. I gave him a voice to talk on my show.
Yes.
After that. So I just think we just have to make more and more people aware, like the young ones that are coming here on this show. Fantastic. I love where they're coming from with their opinions and point of views. I think they're very good, and we need more young people like you to go through school and to come on the show. I think, So I think the more that we have to keep working at it, because like I say, to do with Indigenous discrimination, I say it's 3 steps forward, 1 step back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. So it's a continuing, evolving thing, and we just have to make more people aware.
Well, on that positive note, Ronna, thank you, Mason, Zarif, and Andrea for being with us today.
Sure.
And till next fortnight, let's continue to inspire, empower, and connect. And remember, your voice matters.